we want women to feel comfortable and at home discussing issues that are pertinent to them and also everyone. But remember to like, subscribe, and make a comment. Thank you.
Hi, ladies. How have you all been?
We
Good.
did. We did it.
How was
What's
the
up?
weather today?
Oh my God, it's freezing. It's a snowstorm.
Wow,
Yeah.
another snowstorm. Thank
Yes.
God for tropics. Yes, I
I
just
know.
love
Second
it.
one for
Look
the
at
weeks.
a knife outside by us, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, we have a panorama Sundays outside here. Wow.
It's amazing.
Whatever. Don't rub it in.
Amazing, nice and sunny, bacon shark weather. Just when you think
Ah,
that's a fight for a table, but whatever.
It's
whatever.
a
Blessed, we're
fantastic
blessed.
day outside here.
We are blessed, ladies.
What bless all kind of bacchanal going on in Trinidad? What you talking about?
I know, but it's a small percentage. Don't judge us based on the
Yeah,
wrongdoings of
just there. That's like
you
less than
know,
1%.
less than 1%.
I hear you.
On that topic, yeah, on that topic, I mean, we've been inundated this week with all kind of a news, and sometimes it gets to us in terms of the negative energy, and it seems as if the men in our society are just allowing the craziness to continue. I mean, we ended last year with the unfortunate situation of a young woman, and then we started 2021 with another case of abuse of women. And sometimes it makes you wonder as women, what can we do differently? Like, how can we see the signs? How can we avoid being victims of domestic violence or of violence on a whole? And in thinking about that, it makes me wonder as women, why do we often choose to stay in relationships that are not serving us well? What do you think might be some of the reasons why persons stay in relationships recognizing that it's not working and they remain?
Well, Sharon, I really think the reason why women tend to stay in these relationships that may not be serving us or may not be working for us, and it always boils down to what Delia always talks about: what trauma happened in our childhood that makes us feel that we're not good enough, and that's why we're holding on to this. But not only in that sense, because there are ladies
So many
from
different things.
wholesome
Yeah.
families, and still when they get involved with an abuser they stay, and it's simply because the abuser, what they try to do is chisel away at your self-esteem and make you feel like if you need them and you need the situation, when sometimes it's not that. You really just need counseling and structure and help to get away from the abusive situation.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that is there's that emotional, psychological aspect, right?
Like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, yeah, that you in these situations. But there are also real practical reasons why I think people stay. And I know like a big one I think is just financial stability. Because yes, a marriage or in a cohabiting situation, you have that financial security. It's like if your rent or your mortgage is $2,000-3,000 a month and it's split in half, it's pretty doable. And
Right.
everything, it's bad, you can handle it. And
Yeah.
then if you have to suddenly say, because of whatever reason that this relationship is not working, I'm going to go out there and do it all by myself. So that is like leaving comfort,
Right.
financial comfort, to go
Mm-hmm.
to financial uncertainty.
Yeah.
And if it's
Yeah.
one thing the human brain don't like is uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
Mm. I
Yes.
hear you,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we also must be mindful of our lives because sometimes this certainty can bring with it so much trauma that it could cost you your life.
Yeah.
So, you want to be mindful while you have certainty and we know the devil that we know. We want to
Right.
know how our bills are being paid. Do we put that security over our very existence?
Sharon, one thing I have to say about that situation, you are saying that people want to stay for financial stability, but there's a double-edged sword to that. There are two situations. If you're in a situation where your life is at risk because you're being abused, you, for your own mental sanity, you want to leave and you would take a cut in your lifestyle, but you are able to support yourself. But if it's something like more trivial, oh well, we're not getting along anymore, he is not my person, you would tend to consider more like should I stay for that count, that those creature comforts they're talking about? But when it's something that bothers you mentally, degrades you as a woman, you need to find a way out. That's the
Right.
difference. And people stay for a whole host of reasons. Some more like stranger than others. Some, as you said, could be life and that, and some could just be. Some people may consider it trivial. So
No, but what we have to, ladies, but what we also have to bear in mind, it's easy for us to say, your life is at risk, get out. But if as a woman you have children and you have no support,
exactly,
you have no one that you can go to, you have no place that you can stay. A housewife, for example, who doesn't have her own money. I mean, where is she going? We have to also be mindful that, we need to, yeah, you hear about shelters and that kind of thing. But in our society, in Trinidad, ladies, I don't know if you all remember, in our mother's time, when you get married and you leave home, if your husband beating you and you go back home, they used to tell you, go back.
Yeah.
They used to tell you, go back to your husband. So it's fear, yes, but also where you're going to go, what you're going to do. And most people feel, in that situation, I mean, it's easier to just stay and take the abuse than to actually leave, because you don't have anything to fall back on. You don't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah,
But,
that's societal pressure, Anna.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I hear, but I'm thinking too that to me, it's about making hard decisions now that are going to be hard now, but will become easier as time go by. Or to me, choosing to stay, which is the easier solution now, but down the road it gets harder. Because if you're staying in an abusive relationship, it may, like you was talking about earlier, Delia, it may mean having to leave and making some adjustment to your lifestyle. But if you decide to stay, to me, I see it is that there's always someone or some group, some church group or community group or some establishment in place that if you make up your mind, I'm going to leave this person, no matter what, when you make up your mind, things fall in, it's like a woman not working anywhere, finds herself pregnant, no support, and she keeps this child. The child loves him. So when you want to leave, we could say, yes, we don't have financial support or we don't have these things in place. But I believe if you make up your mind, make the hard decision now to get out of a bad relationship, to preserve your life, your children's life, what have you, eventually something, God is not going to leave you stranded. Someone will come along and will provide some sort of a covering for you until you're able to stand on your feet.
Sharon, that is an extreme situation. But sometimes when you're ready to leave and then the person is like doing everything to prevent it from leaving, right, Nadine?
Yeah, but you know what Sharon was saying, my mother used to say, when a door closes, a window always opens. And you have to remember, Sharon, you're giving your point of view from a strong woman. Sharon, you are a strong woman. You have grown up in a situation where you had, no matter what the situation was, there was that support that made you into a strong woman and want to do things. What about the people with a weaker type personality, who did not grow up in the ideal situation, who didn't have all the forces around making them a strong, healthy, thinking woman? There are people
I didn't have those supports. Just to tell you, I didn't have those luxuries, I had to
I know. You are a strong woman. We are strong women, but there are a big segment in our society that with women without that support and
But
that
Nadine,
inner,
Nadine, I think we became strong women. We didn't start off at 21. I'm a strong woman.
But
There's that 1%.
Your mother, my mother, Sharon's family, her aunts, her dad, you had that support. There are people who grew up without that support and not knowing what to do.
And I think this is where the community has to come together. Because I think in Trinidad, women are not really given that support, like Anna was alluding to. If you go home, because like you would say, like back in the days, you go home and you say, like, Ma, this man is beating the shit out of me. And she's like, go back.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
we need to allow women to make the choices and provide support. And
Yeah.
here, if it is that we have to build shelters and we have to make it more accessible, this is what we have to do as a society, as a community, because we value women,
Right.
Yes.
right? And we value protecting them. And I think
Yes.
these are things that we who are so-called strong women have to
Right.
advocate for those who
Correct.
may not be as strong,
That's
but
strong.
they
Exactly.
definitely
But
need.
I actually
but
had a
what we have
situation.
to what we have to look at as well, right? There are a lot of women who get married or who go and live in a relationship with a guy in their 20s, early 20s, 21, 22, 19. Now, if we remember who we were at that age, we weren't able
Yeah.
to take care of ourselves at that age. We were children. And so, but we went out there, we got our apartments, we got jobs, and that helped build us to be, stand on our own 2 feet and take care of ourselves. So we were able to, in a relationship now, if we get into an abusive relationship now, we know exactly what to do to
Yeah.
handle our stories. But for the young girl who doesn't know because she never did it,
Hmm.
She doesn't have the mental memory, doesn't have those mental
exactly,
muscles to flex to do
That's right.
this.
Yeah.
So
exactly, and
we, as older women, we have
mm,
to model, we have to tell our stories, right? And let them
mm,
know we were scared, we didn't have all the resources. I mean, like, I
mm,
left my country, I left Trinidad and I came over here like on a dream, you know?
mm,
I didn't have any family to go to. And in
yeah,
this process, I became a strong woman,
Yeah.
right?
mm,
So when you do difficult things, and it is
Yeah.
difficult to leave a relationship that is abusive, that is not serving your needs, that is putting you at risk, it is difficult because you have become accustomed to that biosphere. That's where So to make
mm,
that move, it is difficult, but it can be done. And I think we have so many stories of women doing it that we
Yeah.
need these women to be up there saying, you can do it too, sis. We got
Yeah.
you. You can do it.
But let me
You know?
tell you
yeah,
this. It's a story. My mother was always independent woman. She had her own house, her own car, her own job. And when I wasn't in a physically abusive relationship, but I had my daughter, then I was pregnant and I found out the guy was holding me or whatever. And I packed up my stuff and went by my mother. After a few days, she's like, you don't think if you're with somebody else, you're not gonna hold you to go back home. That is what I was told. So
mm,
Exactly.
there's a conditioning.
Exactly. That cultural and societal, because basically in Trinidad is still a very patriarchal society.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
man still dominates,
Yeah.
right? And until we
mm,
change that mindset, we will constantly have these stories, or we'll constantly, see women like reaching out for help, and they are not going to be getting it unless we change our mindsets. Yeah.
mm,
and what I
Another
found in
reason.
Trinidad too, there isn't much. Let's say a woman makes it, or a group of women are strong, and there is no lead up to. Let's find ways to help the community. Let's get together as strong women. And Sharon, you were involved in helping others. But I find that there isn't much avenues for women. They're struggling, they're making it, but the ones who made it, what are they doing to help to give the others a hand up? What?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And it's something we need to look into. Even as a group, we need to look
Yeah,
into to help see how we
yeah,
can assist others who are struggling in this area. But another, as you mentioned, societal, Delia, another one of another reason that people persons stay in bad relationships is because of what the society will think about it. What do you think about that, Delia?
um,
What society will think about them leaving?
Yeah.
yeah. I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
that's a big thing in Trinidad or in this time, but back in the day, that was a big thing. You have to
Right.
stay in your marriage, but people, they're not advocating for you to stay like they used to do long time. But where's the help when you need to get out? Because when you need to get out, there's obviously that extra financial stress, and you need that support of, like, especially male relatives. So when this person show up by your new house and ready to bang down your door, and you call the police and they can't come right now because they don't have a car, or it's some story, all that needs to change.
But you know, Nadine, I kind of disagree with you, because I think even though we have moved as a society, I think we still hold on to certain things. Like there's this feeling as a woman, you're really a woman when you partner up, you know? If you get married, oh, that's the pinnacle of success. It's like you can have all the job you want, but make sure you know how to wash the clothes and cook the food.
I don't think so. I didn't grow up in that society.
That is still, I think,
so I don't relate it.
I think that is still something that people hold highly. It's like, you're married, you have no children. So all of these so-called traditional female roles, are still so much attached to your self-worth as a woman. So sometimes removing yourself from a situation where you don't have that man and you're not that woman, you're not as womanly because,
that man thing is considered security.
I think society
but
still
a lot of women,
well,
as you say, children, Delia, a lot of women stay in that abusive relationships. I mean, it could be physical and emotional. So it's just not physical. But for children, they say, they don't want their children growing up with without their father or a broken home.
Something like that. I don't know.
What's that, Nadine?
I do agree with that standpoint, but a lot of people do it. Yes, Anna, a lot of people stay because they want that family unit. But when that family unit is teaching you subservience and teaching you to take abuse, then it's not doing what it's supposed to. So why would you want to stay and let your children stay in an unwholesome
because that's what you know. That's what you know. You don't know anything else. That's what you were taught by your mother, by your grandmother.
My concern with
Sharon, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, interrupting you as well, Anna. But my concern with staying for children's sake, I always say, when we do that, what are the values we're teaching our children? Exactly. Are we teaching them, the boy children, to abuse women? And it's okay because they'll stay anyways. And are we teaching our daughters and it's okay if a man hits you or a man speaks down to you or anything like that? Those are the lessons we're teaching without, because I say we teach others more than by our actions as opposed to what we say. So when they see staying in abusive relationships, we're sending a very serious message to them. But I just have this something that always bothers me. I am asking myself every day, I'm listening to the news, I'm hearing what's going on. And I constantly ask myself, a lot of these children are raised by single women. And we as women, we know what we want in a relationship and we have sons. Why aren't we teaching our sons to respect women more? What are we not doing that makes our children, our sons think it's okay to possess a woman in a way where she's mine? And if she leaves, I have to harm her. What are we not doing right with our boy children?
Yes, we're coddling them too much. It's a whole, this is the...
And I think we are forgetting something very, very salient. That abusive relationships, right? You are relating to that person because there's love there. As dysfunctional as it is, there's that love. They love one another. Otherwise, most likely they wouldn't have gotten to that stage. But somehow, maybe because of childhood trauma or whatever, it becomes dysfunctional and ugly. So we have all of these emotions wrapped up in this thing, right? So it's really, really difficult for someone who is abused, because they will tell you. I mean, I have worked with women who have been abused, and it's like, my abuser did whatever. But it's like, I loved him and I hoped that he would change. I think that is the biggest real obstacle in women, really extricating themselves from these kind of abusive relationships.
Yeah, that leads back to what we were talking about, and you were always talking about childhood trauma and how you grew up. And what Sharon was talking about, when you stay in a relationship, you are teaching your daughter that type of toxic love is okay. You're teaching your son that type of behavior is okay, and what you're going to do in the future by staying for the children in an abusive situation. And abuse is not only physical. As you all said, when somebody talks down to you or berates you and you don't correct them at the time and nip things in the bud and say, no, you're not supposed to speak to me like this, I am worth something. It will continue, and that is what you're teaching your children.
Yeah.
You look like you have something to say.
No, I understand. No, I understand what you guys are saying. Yes, but it's difficult. I still think it's really difficult for someone, a woman, or let's say even a man, to walk out of a relationship if that's what they know.
Yeah.
They don't know anything else.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because a lot of in our East Indian culture, our
Exactly.
women are still groomed to serve their men.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
You
Yeah.
don't know anything
You know,
else. You grew up in a
so
home with
funny. Yeah,
grandparents.
I remember my brother's was in my family business because it's like, I didn't used to like to do traditional, and I still don't. Traditional so-called female things. I was like, no man, I go marry ya.
That's what boys
Because
tell you. Look at you, you can't
it's
come.
part of
Who
who
are
you
you?
are.
You
You grow
understand? So
up with it.
they make their society makes us feel this connection with a man is like, oh, that's the ultimate sense of your worth. So when
Mhm.
this doesn't work or when it's abusive, your sense of who you are is so diminished. You really
Yeah.
don't have the capacity sometimes to leave.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
really a tangled
Yeah,
web,
it's a tangled web, definitely. A
Yeah.
tangled web of emotion, a toxic situation. You feel so connected to your abuser. When I was saying Stockholm syndrome is like if you now sympathize with your kidnapper, you
Yeah.
can't see your life being without this person in your home abusing you. Like for example, I know we talking
Because
a lot
it's not
about
always needing to cut it, because remember the relationship is not always abusive. Because
right.
I mean, they charm you, they will turn that
Yeah.
switch and
Yeah.
probably give you diamonds and rubies and flowers to come and cook and make love to you in a kind of way like you like, Jesus,
And
this is
never,
this is the
ever.
man for me, Lord. Work this out. Work it out,
And
Lord.
at the same time,
Right?
turn around and beat you up.
Ah,
And then 2 days after, oh God, I can't take it. So it's like it's an emotional
yeah,
roller
Roller
coaster.
coaster.
And as Anna was
yeah,
saying, this is what they know.
yeah.
So it's so I think really first we have to acknowledge
Hmm.
it's really difficult to leave relationships that are not working out for you, even if it is not as serious as like physical or emotional
Yeah,
abuse. Sometimes the relationship
Mhm.
is just it ain't going nowhere. But
yeah,
even
Yeah.
that
definitely.
is difficult to leave,
Hmm.
right?
Mhm.
It's because and we have to like really work hard on putting
Yeah,
ourselves first and coming up with a plan like why we need to leave, I think.
yes,
Yeah, I think it's like you treat it as a bad habit, and like any other bad habit, you're
Yeah.
addicted to that bad habit, and you need to break that bad habit.
Says the
You know,
smoker.
and yeah.
but the thing is too, I know we need to wrap up, but when you interact with somebody, every time you have a sexual relationship with someone and you'll have sex and intimacy, your body is releasing pheromones that are connecting you to that person.
Exactly.
So that is another reason why it's hard to break that. You feel like you can't survive without that person.
I didn't
So
Right.
know that.
besides
That is
all the
interesting.
other
That's interesting.
reasons,
I didn't
there's
know
that.
that.
You
You
see?
didn't? Okay.
Yeah.
Woo! Thank you, Nadine, for knowledge, dropping
Yeah.
knowledge on us,
I
girl.
didn't know that.
But
I
yeah,
didn't know
so
that.
I mean, I know, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we've
It's
all been there
literally,
where we needed to leave. We
yeah,
knew we needed
yeah.
to
I
leave,
think all of us, yeah, had some close.
and it took a while. And I mean, like, we don't have horror stories,
Yeah.
we don't have, but it was still difficult.
But
I
hear
think,
this. One thing I want to wrap up with is
uh-huh,
is if you are in a relationship that you don't want to be involved in, especially it may not even be abuse, it may be verbal or the person always drunk and you can't deal with it and you have children, you need to plan. You see this thing about when you get married, you join accounts and things like that. You
Plan
need to
B.
have your
plan B.
secret stash. You need
Yes,
to
Miss
have
Plan
your
B.
secret stash. So when you need to exit, you're moving with some comfort. Planning.
You know what? So
You
maybe we
know,
need to have the next show. Let's
about
dedicate it to,
planning.
okay, you have decided that you cannot take whatever it is anymore. how you go about the next step. Maybe we can have a
Yes.
discussion on
Options,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Again,
seeing that Nadine is foremost and upfront with planning.
planning. You take the floor, Nadine.
She will take the planning.
Plan B.
Miss Plan B. Again, thank you so much for having a conversation with us. And we know that it's a difficult time for many, but know that we will support you any way we can. We will put the domestic violence abuse hotline in the comments so you can call, and yeah, let's work together to help women become their best selves, even if it means leaving things that they have known all their adult lives. Okay?
Yeah.
So remember
Yeah.
to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. What is going on? Tell me how you feel. You understand? You like Nadine outfit? Nadine looking real cute today, boy. Thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.